Hi everyone, welcome to Watch It Played Speed Round. My name is Rodney Smith, and in this new segment, we're going to take a game that normally you would play slowly, due to the thoughtful decisions that have to be made. And instead, we're going to play it as quickly as possible, which I'm sure will have no impact on the quality of our gameplay. And this will allow you to see the game in a fraction of the time that it would normally take to demonstrate. Five Tribes by Days of Wonder has sometimes been known to bring out the analysis paralysis in its players, but not here, not on Speed Round. But I don't want to leave you in the dust, so right now I'm going to give you a quick overview of how to play the game so you can follow along more easily. And then we're going to transition right into a live play of the game that you can join us for or watch afterwards at your leisure. But for now, join me at the table and let's quickly learn how to play. The game has 30 tiles, which are randomly placed, and 90 wooden meeples, which come in the 5 colors of the 5 tribes. These are put randomly in groups of 3 on each of the tiles. In a 2-player game, each player collects 11 camels and 50 gold. Now, gold is always kept face down, but for the purposes of this instructional video, I'm leaving them face up. Each player also gets 2 turn markers in their color, which are randomly placed on the bid order track nearby to the turn order track. We have a market of 9 face-up resources and its deck, 3 Djinns and its deck. Here's a bank of coins, palm trees, and palaces. The game is played in a series of turns broken into steps. The first step is to bid for the turn order, starting with the player in position 1, who will then move their marker to any position on the turn order track, paying the cost of the spot they desire. The farther right you go, the more you can be assured of going earlier in the turn order. But let's say the pink player is feeling cheap and they want to go in this position. They're going to have to pay 1 gold back to the bank. The blue player wants to go ahead of pink, and so they're going to go here and pay 3 gold to the bank. There are 3 spaces if you choose to pay nothing. And the first player to choose to pay nothing has to go in this first 0 space. Then any other player who bids 0 will always go to this space as well, bumping other previous 0 bids backwards 1 space. Now it's time to take actions. And this starts with the player with a turn order marker at the front of the line. They will pick it up and place it back on the bid order track in the first position and then take their action. Now you choose a tile with at least 1 meeple on it and take all the meeples there, moving them to adjacent tiles, dropping 1 off at each location. Now there are some restrictions. You cannot go diagonally. You can't do an immediate backtrack, and your last meeple must end on a space that has another meeple matching its color. Now you collect the meeple you dropped and all other meeples matching that color. If, with your final meeple, you go to a space that would cause you to completely clear that tile, you place one of your colored camels here, and now you control that tile, and at the end of the game, you will receive this value in victory points. But whether you cleared a tile or not, you now take the tribe action of the colored meeples that you collected. If you collect yellow viziers, place them in front of you, and they'll be worth 1 victory point each at the end of the game. White elder pieces are also placed in front of you and are worth 2 victory points each at the end of the game, or they can be used to acquire and activate Djinns. Green merchants are discarded to this bag, and then you take a number of resources, starting at the front of the line, equal to the number of merchants you collected. To explain how blue builders work, let's look at another full turn. Over here we can see it's the pink player next. They return their marker to the bid order track into position 2 because that's the next available spot. And then they picked this tile. Now they're going to move, dropping off a worker at each location until finally they come to this tile. Placing the blue meeple here allows them to take that blue meeple back along with these other 3. So in total, these 4 builders are discarded to the bag. Now you multiply the number of builders that you discarded by the number of victory points with a blue background, both on the tile that you ended as well as all surrounding tiles, for a total of 1, 2, 3. So 3 times 4 is 12, and that's how much gold you collect from the bank. You can also choose to discard any number of slaves that you might have collected and add that to the value of the blue meeples that you collected. So in this case, it would now be 5 times 3 for 15 gold that the pink player would get to collect. Pink is next on the turn order track, and this time we're going to illustrate how the red assassins work. When you end your move placing a red assassin, you collect all of the other red assassins. And this is the total range that you can use to eliminate a single meeple on another tile. So discarding these to the bag, we have a range of 2 counting from here. So we could go 1, 2 and remove any one of these meeples, but instead I'm going to go 1, 2. It doesn't have to be in a straight line, you just can't go diagonally. And I'm going to eliminate this meeple, returning it to the bag. And because the purple player cleared this tile, even though it was through an assassination, they get to place their camel there, and at the end of the game, they're going to get an additional 10 points. You may also discard slaves to extend your range by 1 for each card discarded. Instead of using your assassins to remove a meeple from the tiles, you can choose to discard them to remove either a yellow vizier or a white elder from an opponent's collection. As well as activating the ability of the tribe color that you collected, you also complete the tile actions that are shown here on the tiles that they came from. So if you ended your turn on this tile, you would collect a palace and place it here. And if you ended on this tile, you'd collect a palm tree and place it here. You can have multiple palaces and palm trees on the same location. Ending your movement here allows you to pay 3 gold to collect any 1 resource from the first 3 resources. So in this case, you could take any one of these 3 cards. Landing here allows you to pay 6 to collect any 2 of the first 6 resources. This action allows you to either discard 2 white elders or an elder and a slave in order to collect any one of the 3 face-up Djinns. Djinns will provide you with victory points equal to the value shown here at the end of the game and also have special abilities. If there's a cost, it will be shown here, and you can spend the cost once per turn to activate the ability. Other times, the effect is passive and ongoing with no cost. For example, this one says that your white elders at the end of the game will be worth 4 victory points instead of the usual 2. After moving meeples, activating the meeple powers, tile powers, and Djinns, you may finally choose to discard a number of unique resources to collect gold. The chart in the book and on the player aid shows you the value of discarding unique sets. So here I have a set of unique items. 3 of them will give me 7 gold. Because this item is found already in this set, I'll have to sell it separately, and 1 item is only worth 1 gold. So I can sell all of these for a total of 8. It should also be noted slaves cannot be used as part of a set. Once all of the players have taken all of their turns, you shift and then replenish all of the Djinns and resources. The game ends at the conclusion of the round where a player has placed their last remaining camel, or at the point where there's no legal moves left to make. Then it's time to score. Each gold and vizier is worth a victory point, and for each player who has strictly less viziers than you, you'll gain an additional 10 victory points. Each elder is worth 2 victory points, Djinns are worth their value here, and tiles you control are worth the value printed here. Each palm tree that's on a location you control gives you an additional 3 victory points, and each palace gives you an additional 5. And using the same chart we saw before when selling resources, your remaining unique sets of resources are worth the same number of victory points, again, not including slaves. And there you have it, a quick overview of how you play 5 tribes. If you have any questions, hopefully they'll be answered by watching our live playthrough, which is just about to begin. I hope you'll join us. And if you still have questions at the end of the video, don't worry. Leave them in the comments below and I'll gladly answer them as soon as I get a chance. But for now, join us. Pep and I are about to do a speed round of 5 tribes.